With the second pick of the 2024 MLB Draft, the Cincinnati Reds select Chase Burns.
It's hammered down the left field line and way gone. A solo home run for Alfredo Duno.
Collier swats one into left field, testing the line. That is down a base hit. Rogers is coming around third. He will score. To replace him at second is Cam Collier with a stand-up double.
Find it short, up in the air. Arroyo steals a base hit.
The swing and a fly ball down the left field line, hooking toward the corner. It is a fair ball and it is gone. Home run re-signs.
Make it two! Trudeau jumps on the first pitch and lines it to right. Vu crosses the plate, and the Tortugas will not say die tonight.
Lewis takes inside, throw to second is on a hop, and it is not in time. And there is stolen base number 50 for Kyle Headley.
There's a swing and a fly ball into center. Dunn going back on the warning track, leaps to the wall, makes the catch. Dunn hauled it in. Ball game over.
Swing, here's a well-hit ball to right field. Moving back to the wall. Campbell, that ball is gone! This game is tied!
That's airborne into the gap, into right field. Diving forward and making the catch is Edwin.
Kian Vu with a skyscraping blast out to right. Daytona is on the board.
There's a swing and a fly ball to left. Rodriguez turns around. It's gone just over the wall into the seats. Home run, Sal Stewart. Kind of a high liner. It got out of here in a hurry. Fly ball center field. Jorge there. And it is caught. Campanon cut in front and caught the ball. Put this game in the win column. Put this winning streak at 14. It's a new club record.
Righty sends. Henrik signs. Drives it out into right field. That's going to be the ball game. Look out, Twin. Look out, Twin. Henrik comes through. What a play. What a bat for Henrik, the fans, and the Chattanooga Lookouts.
Welcome to Minor League Monday, a Cincinnati Reds minor league podcast presented by myself, Roger Strauss, and Reds on SI writer Ricky Logan. Ricky, it was kind of a interesting week for the minors, some ups, some downs, some decent performances. All four and the ACL were in action this week. But yeah, how has your week been?
It's been pretty well. Got a new grill last week. That was pretty exciting. I made some steaks last night. So all in all, it's been good. Listening to games, kind of, we saw some guys really kind of take a leap this week, and some guys that we're really excited about for the future of the Reds, and some guys that, probably will see a promotion here fairly soon.
We definitely, Ricky, need to get down to Dayton before Alfredo Duno gets promoted, because he's been back. He's I think 3 straight games, home runs this week. So we'll get into that. But you got to get down there, Dayton, because McChrystal already got promoted to Chattanooga. So we got to make sure we get down there before any of our other guys get moved on to AA. But yeah, it's been a pretty decent week, a lot of decent performances. But before we get into all that, I want to shout out our sponsor, Frostbuddy, again, frostbuddy.com/redhotreds. Ricky's got his Frostbuddy right there. I want to really appreciate or shout out them, because they've been with us for a little bit, and we want them to they're a small business, still growing and all that, but they got lots of options, lots of different things on their website if you are looking to keep your drink cool or keep it warm. So there's a lot to it. Ricky, you want to say anything about Frostbuddy?
Yeah, there's no better time than the summertime to keep your drinks ice cold, and this is what this does. If you have you're at the ballpark, I'm pretty sure they let these things in the ballpark. I know I've seen some pictures of Busch Stadium and stuff. They take their frost buddies in the stadium. I'm pretty sure Great American allows them. You just take them empty, and then when you get a bottle there, you just throw your bottle in here, and it keeps it cold the whole game if you don't drink it within the first inning. But yeah, these things, they hold your this one here is the Universal Buddy XL. It holds anything from a 12-ounce Red Bull all the way up to a 24-ounce Peace Tea, and your stubby beer bottles and your regular beer bottles, beer cans, pop cans, whatever you could hold it. And it comes with a couple different lids to fit whatever size drink you have. And it also, you can buy an optional 100% leak proof tumbler lid also, and you can just throw ice in it and keep your drink cold. And it's hot where I work, and I threw ice in it at 4:30 in the morning, and by 2:00 it still had ice in it. So it does a great job at doing that too, if you just want it just to have as a tumbler. And they got lots of options. They got licensed products. They got Cincinnati Reds. I got a Reds one. They have, if you're a female, they got all kinds of cool designs for that. They just launched a Mother's Day collection. I think Coca-Cola jumped on board with them, so they got a couple Coca-Cola designs coming out pretty soon, and just some pretty cool designs as a whole. And yeah, they're awesome, man. I'm so glad that I stumbled upon this product because, I've talked about it. Yeah, they're helping us out, but we haven't taken anything from them. They've never sent me anything. All this stuff here is just by me saying this. And I swear by these guys. They're great, and I couldn't say enough good things about them.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, check them out. We got the QR code also at the bottom of the screen, also with the website, frostbuddy.com/redhotred. So go check them out. Please do. And also check us out on YouTube. And also we are a podcast. So check us out at Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all those things that we'll post the podcast as soon as we're done recording and everything like that. And we really appreciate all the followers that have made us, moderately successful, and we still want to grow. So tell a friend, be a friend, subscribe, like, comment, hit the notification button on YouTube, because we like to try to promote our YouTube channel as much as possible, and all our other channels, X, Instagram, everything like that. So really appreciate everyone that has supported us through time, and all the players and all that they're coming on, especially because we got an interview this week that will be coming out. Ricky, I don't know if you want to preview this one or tease this one out.
Yeah, let's go for it. We've had a few guys on. We've had Ryan McChrystal on twice. We've had Kian Vu on. We've had Trevor Kuntzel on, and we're looking to add. And we got Jacob Friend coming on Wednesday, and that's going to be awesome. He's had a really great year this year. He's been a pleasant surprise, and we're really excited to sit down with him and talk to him about his baseball career up to this point, and then just how great he's been this season. And he's, I don't know if you're a Reds prospect lover like us, this, but he's not just a catcher, man. He plays outfield, he plays first base, he's an athlete. And he was taken in that same draft class as Ryan McChrystal. He was in the 6th round, and McChrystal was a 10th round pick. So just they've hit on some of these guys in the draft, and they might have stole another one in last year's draft in Ty Doucette, and he looks really good. And we're just excited. We can't wait to talk to him, and he's going to be a fun one to talk to.
Yeah, for sure. Really looking forward to that. Check that out. We'll be dropping later this week, maybe Wednesday or what have you. But an interview with Jacob Friend of your Daytona Tortugas, hitting 333 or something like that for the season. So he's off to a great start. And hopefully maybe McChrystal got promoted. Maybe there's a catcher spot available in Dayton for him. We'll see in the coming weeks. But anyway, let's get into it, Ricky. Like I said, all 4 affiliates plus the ACL Reds have been in effect this week. The ACL had a full week, which is 5 games for them. Obviously, they don't play on Sundays, and they take like a random Wednesday or Thursday off. They had a 3-2 week, decent week for them. Some decent performances as well through the week. Monday started off pretty well with a win, 8-7. What were your takeaways for the ACL Reds?
Yeah, Steele Hall drew 3 walks in that first game. Just he's not hitting the ball great, other than the power that he's shown as far as like for average, but he's showing really good plate discipline so far. He got to showcase his speed later in the week too. He had an inside the park home run. And Hervin Murillo, he's not going to be in the ACL very long. He was, I guess I could probably say, a surprise top 30 prospect to start the year. I think he was, and I think on our list, he was on the outside looking in barely. But, he's up to 21 now. And by the way he's playing, he's probably going to be a top 10 prospect soon. And, I'm really, really impressed with him. And then another guy too, Juan Brown, he's had a good week too. And a lot of these DSL guys that come up this year, we're seeing these guys stateside for the first time. And, there's going to be some ups and downs like we're seeing from Adolfo Sanchez. He's kind of struggling here out of the gate, but I got a lot of faith in him. But Murillo, as of Monday, had a 1.126 OPS. And he's great. And he's showing some improvement behind the plate. I think they say he lacks arm strength a little bit, but you can add to that, but just by working out. But I'm really impressed by his hitting ability.
Yeah, is he 19 years old or something like that? So
yeah, I think he just turned 19.
Yeah, a lot of baseball ahead of him. Also want to shout out Aaron Watson on Monday. Pitched pretty well, 4 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, and 6 strikeouts, which is great to see because this is a guy that you highlighted, I think, on your X account, just having just some great stuff, striking out guys and talking about him. So, like, the ACL, like I said, is one of our favorite parts of the organization, and you see some really strong performances out of all these guys. And another guy that isn't an ACL red per se, he's on his way back because the ACL could be used for rehab assignments, more or less. Ty Floyd pitched on Tuesday. It says 3 innings, 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 4 Ks. So like maybe he's back on maybe he'll be back in Daytona sooner than later, which would be great to see. So he had a really strong ACL start to this 2026 season, which is great to see working back from injury.
Yeah, for sure. Because he was a guy that he was a 2nd-round pick in 23, right? With the Paul Skeens draft, and he was kind of the second ace on that team behind Skeens for LSU, and just unfortunate injuries for him. He had a shoulder injury his first year. I think he didn't even pitch a game his draft year, and then he came back in 25 and had Tommy John. So really good to see him back and pitching because he's I don't want to say he's got a ton of potential, but he's got a lot of upside, and he can be at worst a really good bullpen pitcher at the major league level, which, as we've seen from the Reds over here lately, they could use all the help they could get, which he's a ways away from that. But really good to see him get back there and really just show that he can still pitch, which we all know he can. It's just remaining healthy.
Yeah, that's kind of been the story of his career, not necessarily being able to get out there on the mound and get the job done. But he did so far, and hopefully he's working his way back to affiliate ball, like I said, sooner than later. As ACL, I don't think is where he'll be all season long, to say the least. Another guy I wanted to highlight, I think you might have mentioned him as well, Nielsen Boutin is 2 for 4 on Friday. Had a double and a steal and a run scored. So like, there's some decent prospects outside of like the known ones like Hervin Murillo and Aaron Watson and whatnot that are down there playing pretty decently in ACL. And I do want to mention that Pablo Nunez and Eli Pitts are injured for the ACL Reds. They have not made an appearance yet, but hopefully sooner than later. I think you had messaged Pablo as well. They had like a little small injury, so maybe next week, maybe the week after, hopefully before June, we'll see.
I think he's with the team now. I'm thinking he's going to play next week.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. We'll hopefully next week's recap we'll be talking about Pablo Nunez and not talking about how he's still out for the season. Another guy I wanted to profile as well is Jesus Colina, 2.2 innings on Saturday, 1 hit, 3 Ks. No runs against in his 6.1 innings of work so far in the ACL. So that's been some highlight on the pitching side for the ACL Reds. So that's nice to see. But
yeah. One last guy I want to highlight just overall, Iker Radona. He gets credit with the loss on Saturday, and but he pitched good. I mean, five hits over 4 1/3, just 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, no earned runs, just 2 runs. He was a DSL All-Star last year. I think he's just 19 years old. He's still really young. He's 18 actually. He turns 19 in December, so he's really young. And I think he's well on his way. If he can showcase himself here in the ACL, I think he could be a late season call up to Daytona and still just be 18 years old already in low A. And he's someone that we're really excited about. Left-handed pitcher. He's really good. And kind of like what we talked about, like with Starlin Torres, just really good command of his pitches and can really just throw a lot of strikes, which can get you into trouble at this level just because guys are swinging all the time.
Yeah.
But when you get to the higher level, this is where you need to see that, and they're really good at that.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else on the ACL Reds? I believe they'll be back in action on Monday as we're doing this show, as they usually are on Mondays. What is it, the 18th Monday? Just like the Major League team will be in action on Monday. I think they're the only 2 teams in action. So, but yeah, they'll be 9 p.m. start, so they'll be going on real late after the Cincinnati Reds Major League team will be all done. But yeah, moving on to Daytona. They had not a great week. They ended up going 1-5 this week for Daytona. Had some decent performances from some different guys that haven't been performing as well. I wrote in my notes, I think Drew Davies has worked his batting average up to 287, and he had been a guy that was well under 200 for a long stretch of the season. Yesterday, Sunday, he went 2 for 3 with 2 doubles and a run scored in the loss. But like I said, he's worked his way back up to a pretty decent batting average when he had been hitting 8th or 9th in the lineup and hitting like 130, 150 for a long time. So shout out to Drew Davies.
Yeah, I guess touched on him a minute ago, but Starlin Torres on Wednesday pitched in game 1 of the doubleheader. I think it was game 1. 5 2/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Lowered his ERA. His ERA is up there at 8.20, but he's someone that we're really excited about. He jumped into the top 30 also this year. And then someone that I kind of flew under my radar as far as his production has been Tyson Lewis. He's been on fire here in the last week and a half or so. I don't know if you saw this, but Joey Votto has been kind of hanging around Daytona, and he kind of took Lewis and a couple other guys under his wing, and they're performing. Lewis, I think he had the first day he hit a walk-off 3-run homer after Votto was talking to him. I'm not sure if it was in the same week as this week, but overall, if you go for his May stats, he's been on fire. 273 in May with a 759 OPS. For reference, 229 or 208 in April with a 577 OPS. So he's jumped up his average almost 80 points, and he's just kind of starting to take that leap. And I'm not sure if he still profiles as an infielder going forward, just because he's kind of wild on his throws and has some errors. He could potentially be a corner outfielder with some speed, or maybe even a center fielder. But when you play on the same team as Kyle Henley, it's kind of hard to showcase your speed. But I've been impressed with his last couple weeks, honestly, from Tyson Lewis.
Yeah, for sure. Also, there's another Canadian first baseman that's in the Tortugas that maybe he's hanging around with as well. Mr. Votto is teaching him up, and Mr. Ty Doucette. But maybe. Touch on Starlin Torres. It was his best start as a Tortuga, which is great to see, because we profiled him when he got. We thought he was going to be an ACL Red for a while, and he got assigned to the Tortugas, and we're real excited about that. And had a prospects to know video that we talked about him and everything. And his first start went all right, but not great. But this one was a lot better, at least in terms of just having a better command of going into the 6th inning as well, and having just 2 earned runs to his name. So shout out to him. End up losing the game 2-1, but kept the Tortugas in the game the whole time, which was great to see. Another guy I wanted to profile is our guy also that we talked about a lot earlier, Edgar Colon. On Thursday, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Again in the loss, but he still is showing a great opportunity to show what his arm talent is. I think he hit 98, 99 on the gun in his Thursday start. And also the low walks to strikeout is great to see, because I believe we had him as a prospect of the week where he had like 1 walk to 10 strikeouts. I think it was his first start of the season, if I'm remembering right. But Edgar Colon pitched pretty well on Thursday, even though, like I said, the Tortugas had a 1-5 week. This was definitely 2 pitching performances along with Starlin Torres of note for the Tortugas.
Yeah, so Jacob Friend, they've had him batting leadoff here lately too, even over Kyle Henley.
Yeah,
he's hitting 300 in the month, 317 as of now. He goes 1 for 4 on Sunday. He goes 0 for 5 on Saturday, but he goes 1 for 3 on Friday. He goes 2 for 3. He goes 0 for 3. He goes 2 for 2. Like he's doing really good, and we're really excited about him. Just his ability to not only be a really good hitter, but very flexible offensively already. And it's kind of un-Reds like, honestly, to be doing this this early, because we seem to tend to do that at the major league level. And to see somebody like Jacob Friend who can play all these positions in low A and be versatile enough to play corner, outfield, first base, catcher is huge, because I mean, yeah, we have Alfredo Duno in the system and he's going to be an absolute superstar, but to have somebody who could fill in behind the plate on an off day, or play first base for somebody else to have an off day, or go play left or right field to have an off day. I think he can even play center field. Like he could fill in anywhere you need him to be. He could be like that Spencer Steer type guy and also catch, and does a really good job at it. And he's still pretty young. He's 23, I think. So, I mean, it's great to see from him. I mean, he's just had a great week too.
Yeah. Jacob Friend is also, I learned, he had been interviewed just a couple days ago or a week ago on a podcast. He's got even splits against lefties and righties, which is something you don't see a lot, especially, as the levels go up. Hopefully he can maintain that type of hitting performance in his, once he gets promoted to the next level and the next level and what have you. But yeah, and also, like you said, he probably played center field a little bit in college, but I think he mentioned that Kyle Henley, being the most athletic guy in the minor leagues, is their center fielder. So he probably isn't going to be playing any center field anytime soon. I don't think he'll play, at least at Daytona, at center field.
Yeah, I could see that. And, one guy I guess we could touch on that really has had kind of been a disappointment, I guess, not to be disrespectful, but Mason Neville just hasn't been performing this year. We're really seeing why he fell to the 4th round, for being the college baseball home run leader last year.
Yeah,
162 average, 521 OPS. Only has 7 extra base hits out of his 17 hits. Striking out a ton, 55 strikeouts already, 15 walks. So he's striking out well, like 55 strikeouts and 105 at bats. So that's like half your plate appearances you're striking out. That's not going to cut it. And he's going to have to shore that up if he wants to get keep going in this league, because there's lots of guys that are in the ACL and the DSL that can come up and pass you up fairly quickly, and we're seeing with the way Pablo Nunez played last year in the DSL, and had he had not had the injury that he had and visa issues to get to Arizona, I think he would be a quick candidate to go up to the Tortugas. But I think he's going to be in ACL for a little bit longer than we had thought, just based off the slow start to what he is dealing with. But yeah, Mason Neville has really been someone I was kind of surprised about how he just hasn't played well, because he kind of showed some flashes last year when he came up here. He had 247, 775 OPS. He had 11 extra base hits and 77 at bats, but he did strike out in nearly half of his plate appearances, and he had 31 strikeouts and 77 at bats. So he's really got to cut those strikeouts down.
For sure. Yeah. A guy that's still a top 30 prospect. It might be hurting his chance to stay in the top 30 in the updated lists of ours and MLB Pipeline and MLB.com and whatnot. So we'll see. And also another guy that's kind of a little bit struggled that we really kind of profiled at this level, Debbie Velifana. Had a really strong start to the season. The last couple starts have been a little bit shaky. Like today, 4 innings, five hits, 4 earned runs, at least 1 walk to the 4 strikeouts. His ERA at the beginning of the year was at like 1.00. It's kind of upticked to 3.67. So it's not complete, like alarm bells and whatnot for Villafana. I still think he's still a candidate to move up to Dayton this year for sure. Just not been as dominant as he was earlier in the year. So just a little bit of concerns. If those two guys can kind of start figuring it out, it's still not even 2 months into the season yet. Hopefully by the end of May, we're talking about these guys having a lot better stretch the last couple weeks, but we will see for sure. And we'll keep tabs on them. Anything else about Daytona?
No, just you kind of touched on Drew Davies. I'm just really impressed by his rebound, because he was really struggling, and he's up to an 837 OPS with 287 average, and he won the Australian League MVP, if I remember right, with all the
new player of the year.
New player of the year, that's right, with all of the 3 Reds guys that we had on the Sydney team, and he won the championship down there against our 3 Reds guys for the Blue Sox. So it's really good to see him kind of bouncing back after a slow start too.
Yeah, for sure. That's great to see. Moving on to Dayton, our high A team. They had they're the kings of the split, Ricky. Just splitting series left and right. Another 3-3 week for your Dayton Dragons, but very good performances. Like I had mentioned, I believe at the top of the show, Alfredo Duno is back and he's slugging. Maybe the promotion of Ryan McChrystal has lit a fire under him to say he's got to start performing well if he wants to keep moving up in the system. He is the Red system #1 prospect, so there's no doubt that he has a great future ahead of him. It's just a matter of working through the issues at current. But some other guys had a decent week. A guy I wanted just to shout out, Yerlin Confidant, was pretty good. 9 for 23, 4 runs scored, 3 doubles, a home run, and 8 RBIs while hitting 391 for the week. So pretty decent week for Yerlin Confidant, a guy that I believe can be streaky, hit RBIs and extra base hits in bunches, not necessarily every day kind of thing, but it's good to see him at least hitting a little bit this week. Any other guys you're looking at for Dayton?
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you talk more about Alfredo Duno, but Carlos Sanchez, man, he has been great. You go back to Sunday, he goes 3 for 5. He goes 3 for 4 on Saturday. Does go 0 for 5 for, Friday. He goes 1 for 4. He goes 1 for 3, 4 for 5 on the 10th. Like he's not going to be in high A very long. I think he goes to Chattanooga sooner than later. I don't want to say this week, but he could, especially with the Reese Hines news, and they're going to have to make some changes, because I think Louisville only has 2 outfielders on their roster currently, and one of them could be a major leaguer in Marte, and Michael Tolley could very well be a major leaguer too, and he's playing very well. So, they're going to have to bring some guys up, and you got to bring some guys up to Double-A to fill up the Double-A spots, move up the Triple-A. So he's looked the part. He's hitting. He's playing good defense. I don't know if he sticks at shortstop though, just because of the way the system's playing out with Arroyo going to need to move to, because obviously Ellie's the shortstop at the major league team, and he's playing at another level right now defensively.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he goes a third short term, and then maybe they make a decision, because he came up as a center fielder for the DSL and transitioned into the infield, and I could see him transitioning back into the outfield because he's got good speed. He's got good range. And I could see him doing that again. But yeah, I mean, Carlos Sanchez has been just because his season last year, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like eye-catching. 277, 791 OPS, just had 8 home runs, 20 doubles, 6 triples. He's only got 3 home runs this year, but he's spraying the ball everywhere. 327 average, 503 slugging, 13 doubles, 2 triples. He's walking good. He's not striking out a whole lot. 33 strikeouts in 147 at bats. I like his game a lot, and I think it translates to Double-A, and I think eventually it translates into a major league quality hitter. Like, he's just a really good player, and I'm really excited to see him taking that leap into becoming a next. I think he cracked the top 30 last year and then kind of fell out again just from other guys coming up and drafting and stuff. But he might be a top 30 right now again, because I know they've made some changes.
Yeah, I think he just got added recently, maybe the last couple of weeks, to the top 30.
He's just a really good player, and I'm really happy that he's performing again, because I think some people kind of forgot about him.
Yeah, for sure. And he's been really good for this team.
Number 26.
So leading off and setting the table for a Dragons team that's much better in 2026 than they were at this point in 2025. But yeah, it's been good to see from Carlos. Hopefully he can keep that up and yeah, see him in Chattanooga sooner than later. Duno, you had mentioned it. Now I'm going to talk about Duno. Before I get to that, I'm going to talk about the other catcher in Dayton. Not McChrystal, because McChrystal's gone. John Michael Fail has 2 starts this week, and he had 7 hits in those 2 starts. I don't know if you ever did see that, Riggy. He went 3 for 4 on Thursday with a home run and 2 RBIs in the win there. And then just today, they've been giving Duno a little bit less catching duties of late, which is good to see, obviously, because, McChrystal moving up, it seemed like they would play Duno every single day, and he kind of went through a stretch of struggling. But today, John Michael Vale went 4 for 5, double, 3 RBIs, and a stolen base in the win. So, like, the catchers are getting it done in the system, whether it's your name, Alfredo Duno, or anybody else, really. But yeah, it seemed like they're giving Duno a little bit less catching responsibility. He played 4 games this week, and John Michael Fail played the other 2, and not really DHing Duno as much. Maybe that's kind of to give him some rest, because he had a little bit of struggle at the end of April into the beginning of May. But now he's back. I mean, he's got 3 homers this week out of the 4 hits he hit this week, and I believe the other hit was like 107 mile per hour single that got him. So like he's been really hitting the ball hard, not really hitting a lot for average. 267 this week. The positive thing that we can always say about Alfredo Duno is that even if he's struggling mightily, he's not striking out a lot. So like hitting 267, he struck out 4 times this week, only to 3 walks. So he's not like overwhelmingly going to be struggling in a sense that he's going to just not see the ball, not see the strike zone well. He just might be unlucky. Maybe he's hitting it into spots where, the defense is set up really well for him. But like, if this is a sign of him starting to get back to where he started the season, then watch out, like rest of the league. Watch out, Reds organization. He might be knocking on the door to go to Chattanooga sooner than later. I think, though, they'll wait a little bit more, being that he's just turned 20. I don't think they're going to really rush him along. They've got decent catchers ahead of him. They like McChrystal a lot. I think they really like Connor Burns as well, even though he's still on the IL. I think they're maybe waiting to see what he looks like before they make any decisions about, rosters and whatnot. But Duno is just crushing the ball left, right, and center. I want to say he hit back-to-back home runs in 3 consecutive games. So great stuff out of him, along with Kian Vu. Just want to shout him out. I believe he's got, I wrote it down here, 28 straight games of reaching base.
Jeez.
So that's just leadoff material stuff. I think I've compared him to like a Stephen Kwan, type outfielder. We could play left and center, and hits left-handed, and hits for average, and has good eye and table sets. But he's been a bright spot. 2 home runs this week as well for Mr. Kian Vu. So like this is the Dayton Dragons got an exciting team. Like I said, Ricky, I think earlier, we got to get down there. We got to watch them before they promote all their guys up.
Yeah, and I guess we can't not talk about the incident that happened on Saturday night where the benches cleared, and I think Duno got scratched from today's game or Sunday's game for a suspension. I think I don't think there's any official word on that, but that whole game was a mess, man. That umpire needs to be demoted. To miss a blatant hit by pitch, like the pitcher shows up the hitter, and then plunks the next pitch. It's a terrible look. That should be I don't know if you listened to the broadcast at all, but Tom Nichols just laying into him. Like, what are you doing? And yeah, I mean, he's wearing a protector on his elbow. He gets hit, but like, there's a difference between hitting plastic and hitting wood. And there's so many replays available that you can't review a hit by pitch at the minor league level. Kind of seems funny to me because isn't that a reviewable play at the major league level?
Possibly. I thought the situation where I thought he was calling it to him to stay in the box because he leaned into it. I thought that was it. But maybe
it looked like he was turning away though. Like he
exactly.
moved.
Exactly. So I didn't think he called it was a foul tip off the end of the bat. Because that happens sometimes. That's odd situation. But I thought he was telling him he was not to leave the box because he leaned into the pitch and all that. But you're right. The antics that happened before that and after that just is ugliness. And you never want to really see that, especially because, a lot of these guys, they're trying to make it to the majors. They don't want to get plunked in the arm and have to deal with a nonsense pitcher. Like we've documented with the San Francisco Giants, that loser organization, that they go after guys and whatnot for no reason. It's just, I don't know. Let's play the game. It's a highly skilled game. It makes no sense to really go after guys and try to hurt them and everything. But, emotions get the best of a lot of players, and I guess that's what happened. And it happened then because everyone else spilled out onto the field, and it was how many ejections did it end up being? Like, at least
a few. It was a few. The pitcher eventually got ejected. I think Duno got ejected. Maria got ejected. Yeah, the manager got ejected. I just shared the video on our X page, so you can see what we're talking about there. Just ridiculous. Just a terrible look from the umpire in general, and a terrible look from that pitcher.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, I don't know. You hate to see it, but you know what I mean? Like, I get it. Emotions run high. This is a tough game, and a lot of guys are fighting over each other just to make it to the next level, to the majors eventually, hopefully. And yeah, hopefully no one didn't get seriously hurt, or I guess feelings got hurt. So there's that. Anything else you got for Dayton recap?
No, just Duno had a very good case to make prospect of the week. He had 3 home runs in 3 straight games. Hit a 4th home run later. Just good to see him really taking that leap after a really slow start, and he's walking a lot more too overall as a whole.
Yeah. I think he's back. I think he's back to what we expect him to kind of do at this level. Yeah. Well, hopefully maintain it consistently so that we are not having any little specks of doubt or what have you. But the Dragons are pretty good. So, like I said, we should get down there and check them out. John Michael Fail, pretty good, man.
Yeah. And Kian Vu, he might be there very long either.
Yeah. Like to see that. But all right, moving on. Chattanooga. Chattanooga did not have a great week overall. They went 2-4. Like I said, some decent performances. We talked a little bit about Carlos Jorge. and all the outfield shakeup that's going to possibly happen with, the Hines DFA. So it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening there. I feel he's a strong candidate to come up to Louisville. They don't have much outfielders. You did say they have 2 outfilders, and like you said, Nwalvu Marte is one of them. I think Yvonne Johnson could play outfield as well. So they may have enough guys to play on Tuesday, is what I'm trying to say. But there may be some movements that happen, some roster changes in the next couple hours or so that will maybe see what we're at. Maybe an Austin Hendrick, maybe Jay Allen. I want to mention that he ran into a wall trying to catch a ball. He got carted off, injured, probably going to the IL. Not sure exactly what the injury it'd be. It just didn't look great. Hopefully, maybe he avoids the IL stint if he takes Monday off, shakes it off, rubs some dirt on it, and maybe he'll be back. But it didn't look great. I believe that happened Saturday, his injury. So
yeah, that was Saturday.
So hopefully he gets back well. But yeah, like I said, AA has been our strongest team through the affiliate system, but they've been a little bit choppy of late. So what were your main takeaways from the Chattanooga Lookouts?
Yeah, Carlos Jorge, man, he's the real deal, and I'm really happy to see him. Kind of like the same thing with Carlos Sanchez, just really performing at another level with another level of affiliate ball. He goes 1 for 2 on Sunday, 2 for 4 on Saturday, 1 for 5, 2 for 5, 2 for 5, 3 for 5, 1 for 4. So great week from him. Like we said, I don't see him hanging around in Chattanooga very long, and he's just great. And his defense really kind of gets overshadowed by his offense this season because he's a terrific center fielder, which if you've followed him throughout his career, he was a second baseman, shortstop coming up, and I think mostly second base. And then he transitioned into the outfield, and really, I think, was it 24 where he finally moved full time, and he kind of had a scary play where I think he had a similar situation to what happened to Jay Allen the other day, where he gets carted off the field, missed a few games, but it wasn't as serious as they had thought, and he ended up coming back. But it was just him in general is really good to see. Austin Hendricks kind of coming down to earth, which was expected, but
yeah.
He goes 1 for 4 on Sunday, 0 for 4, 1 for 4, 1 for 4. He had a home run in the month, and that was earlier. I was on the 10th. He had a home run, but still playing better than he has for his career. He's at 271 average, 436 slugging. So he's probably, even with his recent, I guess, quote unquote slump, he's still, I think, a candidate to go to AAA. And
yeah,
it's time. This is his 6th year in the organization. Somebody joked, I posted the clip of him on Twitter, finally after 12 and a half years in the organization, but he's still just 24 years old, and he's right at the average of a AA player. It's just, sometimes it takes longer for other guys, but if he can blossom into something serviceable, I mean, we'll take it. But I think, we've talked about it 1,000 times, just, missing his senior year of high school ball and his first year of pro ball just really, really hurt his development. And, it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah. I hope that his mom doesn't follow you on X Twitter, because that would be probably not well received. But she follows us on our X Twitter account. So
she does follow me on Twitter.
Oh, no. All right. Well, anyway,
with that being said, I want him in AAA. I want to go see him play. And I'm a huge, and I'm not just saying this because of his mom. I am a huge fan of Austin Hendrick. If you follow anything on my social media over the last 6 years, I have been a massive fan of Austin Hendrick, and I want him to play for the Cincinnati Reds.
For sure. Come on the show, Austin. We'll talk to you.
We'd love to talk to you.
Yeah, shout out Carlos Jorge. Definitely a top performer for Chattanooga this week. But also want to shout out Jose Acuna. He had a pretty good start on Thursday. Yeah, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. In the loss, though, unfortunately, they didn't have a winning week, but they had a decent outing out of him on Thursday, which is great to see. But yeah, most of my notes is like Jorge. Jorge played well on Tuesday and Wednesday, and even I think Saturday. So like it just had an overall solid week. I think hitting 381 for the week, not walking. So his on base percentage is also 381, but slugging 714 for him. So that's pretty good out of a little guy that's known for his defensive prowess.
Yeah, and then I guess on the pitching side, shout out Jonathan Harmon. Sunday goes 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, allowed a home run, but struck out 5 with just 1 walk, and he got the win. He's 4-1 on the season. His ERA is up to 5, but this is his first full season coming back from Tommy John. He played like half of last year, if I remember right. So,
not even half. I think it was the
it was like a quarter of last year. So, really good to see him out there. And he if you've check out our interview with him, he's a great character of a human being. I love him, and I'm really glad to see him having some success down there in Double-A because he's got the work ethic, and just him talking about recovering from Tommy John and kind of reigniting his fire to want to pitch was cool to hear.
Yeah, and after he struck out or got the final out in that game, he was really fired up. So yeah, shout out Jonathan Harmon, Double-A. Hopefully, he can keep that going. We can't have enough good pitching, even Double-A, Triple-A level. So hopefully, he keeps that going and has a strong 2026. But yeah, anything else about Chattanooga?
No, just I want to see them win some more games. They started out hot and they've just really cooled down. And it's weird because McChrystal gets called up and he hasn't played hardly at all. I don't know if there's any kind of injury going on or what, but he hasn't been playing nearly as much as we had hoped. They've been catching Omana a lot, and Kate Hunter, he's been catching a lot. And I think McChrystal, if you're going to bring him up, play him. He's good enough. I think he's earned the opportunity to play. And I guess another thing too, before we move on, is just I want to see more out of Cam Collier. I think he's Rule 5 eligible this year.
Yeah,
and to be in Double-A, someone probably claims him if he doesn't get on the 40 man. So I'd want to see him at least. He's hitting 236, 746 OPS. I want to see more out of him, and I'm a huge fan of him too. I love his personality. I love the way he plays. He's a smooth, beautiful swing, and just for some reason hasn't translated yet since the thumb injury. And I want to see him. I want to see more out of him, but I'm not giving up on him yet by any means. Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah, he is in a spot where this is a big year for him, one way or the other. Yeah, if he does get added to the 40 man, like a Leo Balcazar, who is in Dayton for the most part in 2025, he could be protected. He could be added, but he definitely has to prove that worth with hopefully a stronger end of the month into June and going into the second half of the season. So. But yeah, shout out Cam. He did had some stretches. He had some stretches looking really good and getting back, but need to do that a little bit more consistently. Moving on to Louisville. Louisville had a up and down week, 3-3 overall. Really good performances, not great pitching performances. Like just Chase Petty today really struggled. 3 innings, 8 hits, and 7 earned runs. Just to put that out there. Nate Pearson, who got promoted from Double-A. He's a Rule 5 guy that was selected in the minor league portion of the Rule 5, I believe, from the Brewers. He got promoted because he was pitching fantastic in Chattanooga. Got sent back down to Chattanooga because he went like 2 innings and like 6 runs. Not great pitching stuff for Louisville, which is, just I guess a running theme with the organization at the moment with the Reds. But what were your first thoughts of the Louisville Bats?
Yeah, I think we're getting pretty close to seeing Noelvi Marte get back up to the Reds. Great week from him. He gets a hit in 5 out of the 6 games this week. He goes 2 for 3 on Sunday, 2 for 4 on Saturday, 3 for 4 on Friday, 0 for 4, but it goes 1 for 4, 1 for 4, 1 for 4. Just really good stuff out of him. And
Yeah.
He's getting a little bit better at not chasing as much. I think that's the biggest issue with him is, he can take a walk, but if they're non-competitive pitches, and I wanted to shout out Clay Snowden on this. I don't know if you saw his article on him a couple weeks ago. That was incredible journalism by him, just going back and looking at every at bat and just looking at, he's walked 5 times in so many games, but those pitches were not competitive pitches, and any player would not chase those. I mean, other than CES, but he's I think he's got the highest upside for the Reds other than LA De La Cruz. And I think if he can play, like he did in 23 when he got called up, like he did for a lot of last year, I think he could be a really just an everyday player. He's got to really work on his splits, but they've been playing him in center field a lot down there in Louisville, and I'm really it's a good thing to see because I think he has the speed to be a center fielder. He's really good, really quick, and it's just more of an effort from him. I think that's why Tito kind of falls out of favor sometimes. You see some kind of lackadaisical stuff out of him from time to time, and if he can shore that up and put together better at bats, he's going to be an everyday player at the major league level for a long time. It's just putting in the work, and he's dominating in AAA. I just want to see him do it more at major league level. But yeah, Noelvi Marte, just great week from him.
For sure. Fantastic week, and I believe he had a grand slam as well on Friday.
Yeah.
So that's nice to see. Someone that can hit with the bases loaded, something that the Reds could use for sure. Another guy that's got a lot of potential, Edwin Arroyo, had a decent week as well. Following up, I think he had the player of the week last week that you guys put on there, or that you put on there for the minor league Mondays. But he's got 9 home runs on the season, Ricky. I don't know if you know this, but he's got like double the amount of home runs he had last year already. Also got some speed, 2 stolen bases on Thursday in the 4-2 win. So like, this is a guy that I think could also be between. Obviously, Marte is already. I think he's got probably a better chance to get called up sooner. With the outfield struggles and what have you, and also the fact that he's already been at the major league level. I think Edwin Arroyo debuts before the All-Star break, and that's my, I guess, hot take for today. He seems to have what we expected when they traded for him, couple 3 or 4 years ago, and after the shoulder injury has looked fantastic. So it's good to see that he's lifting the ball. It's good to see he's able to field at a decent level. He's not elite stuff, obviously, like a Matt McLean, but it seems like this infield could use some depth pieces at times if there's going to be some injuries or some guys that are struggling. Love to see Edwin Arroyo before the All-Star break.
Yeah, I think kind of like maybe the dream scenario is to bring him up and play third base. And then when Suarez comes back, you just slot him in a DH and you platoon him with Nathaniel Lowe. Or I don't know what you do with that, but I think both Suarez and Lowe would benefit from a platoon role. There's going to have to be a move. I'm assuming that Blake Dunn would probably be the move to send down to bring in somebody like that. Or you do something with Ke'Bryan Hayes. I don't know what you do. I don't know who trades for him. If you can't really DFA him with the amount of money he's owed over the next 5 years, but I don't know. It just seems to be going back to Sunday's show with the all crawl team. It's like we threw Ke'Bryan Hayes on there for a reason because, he's got the defense, but he just has never hit ever, and he's having a career worse year this year, and it'd be a shame to see him get DFA'd. And I think he's past the service time to get optioned to where he could deny the option.
Yeah.
By like a couple of weeks. I think it's like 5 years of service time to to do that. He's like 5.02 service time. So, of course, they waited too long to do that. But I don't know. I think Arroyo's played a couple games at third base here recently. He played one this week and looked okay. I mean, I think Pat Kelly talked about it. They put him in there against a soft tossing lefty. That way they knew that there was going to be a lot of pulled balls at third base on the right-hand side. And sure enough, he got his fair share. And he looked good. So I wouldn't, with the way McLean's been playing here lately, I think he's kind of earned a little bit longer of a leash.
Yeah.
But, McLean does have experience in the outfield too. In college, he played center field, and he played center field partially at the beginning of his pro career. So I'd hate to see him get rid of an elite defender at second base and then replace him with a better than average defender at second base. But I mean, I would take below average defense at third base just to have somebody hit.
Yeah, that might be the play that would open up the spot for sure to play every day. I guess I had to modify my take because if it is a situation, I'm thinking that there may be some injuries. I don't know where. It could be a McLean, could be a Stewart, you know what I mean? Something like that. That would be the opportunity for Arroyo, really, because if he's not playing every day, you might as well keep him in AAA and promote a Michael Chavis, you know what I mean? Something like that, where a guy that you'd bring up just for just a bit until someone gets healthy type of thing. So, I don't know. I guess my take is getting less hot by the minute, but it'd be great to see him this year because I think he can catch on and make at least as competent of defense as a Key Brian Hayes. But yeah, I think the move to get Arroyo up would be to trade Key Brian Hayes off the books if someone would take him. That's basically it.
Yeah, I mean, even another guy who would need a roster move and Michael Tolia, I remember when we didn't get Kyle Schwarber, I joked. I said, great, we're gonna go get somebody like Michael Tolia now. But that was kind of tongue in cheek just because you go from getting a superstar power hitter and Schwarber and you get, someone that the Rockies just didn't want to bring in. But Tolia has been great in AAA. He hit 2 home runs this week. He goes 0 for 3 on Sunday, but he goes 2 for 4 on Saturday, 2 for 4 on Thursday, 1 for 4, 1 for 4. And then it just looked good. He's up to 261 average, 510 slug on the year. He's got a 887 OPS, 9 home runs. Can play the outfield, can play first base. He's still just 27. He's kind of in that similar situation as JJ Bleday. He's a switch hitter. Benefits him. He was a first-round pick in 2019, 23rd overall. I want to say he played with Matt McLean in college. They played at UCLA.
Really?
He was drafted in 2019. McLean was drafted in 21 or 22. Maybe he might have been a senior when McLean was, whatever it was. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. But I've been liking Tolia's game, and at the major league level, he had 20 home runs just 2 years ago. So, and he's not. Everyone goes, oh, well, he played at Coors, whatever. The majority of his home runs were outside of Coors, and I think that translates. He's a good hitter, and he may be someone to, maybe he's a late season addition if crap hits the fan. And, I think he's got some team control left too. And he could be an option.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I didn't think he had that many home runs. 9 home runs. All right. That's pretty good out of Tolia in the minors. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on him for sure. Cause it might be another crawl minor league deal, all crawl team coming to you for that. But yeah, anything else about Louisville before we move on to our prospect of the week?
No.
All right. Hopefully the rest of aside from the ACL, everyone else basically lost or split their series. So hopefully next week will be a better week to recap the minors and affiliates. But we'll move on to our prospect of the week, a guy that we've talked about a lot, I feel like, on the show, more than probably most, a guy that we really like because he's a top 30 prospect for your Cincinnati Redlegs and a guy that is not even 20 years old, which is kind of crazy to think about. That we got a lot of talent that is in that 18, 19, 20-year-old range. But our prospect of the week is Mr. Hervin Murillo, catcher for the ACL Reds, a guy that was in the DSL, I believe, last year, right, Ricky?
Yep.
So like this is his first time stateside, and he has caught fire. He is hitting the ball. His scouting report had said that he is more of a bat than a catcher. So, but he can always learn. And you had mentioned, I believe, at the top of the show that maybe his arm strength to throw out guys at second is not the greatest, but again, something you can definitely improve upon. I believe improving upon your hitting is a little bit harder than possibly your defense. I'm not no baseball expert, but I feel like that can be something that is developed down the road. But what are your initial thoughts on Mr. Hervin Murillo?
Yeah, he's been great. He really played well down in winter ball with Australia, and he was probably the second best player of the three behind Pablo Nunez, just because Pablo was just an on-base machine. But Murillo can rake, man. He's a switch hitter. He hits well from both sides. Hit for the cycle for the week, so that was good to see. 2 doubles, a home run, and a triple on the week. 11 for 19.
For sure.
It's great. It's from what I understand, man. He is so in tune, trying to be the best catcher as he can be. He left early to get to the U.S. to learn English, to learn to speak to his pitchers, which is just a real testament to him. And I can't really say enough great things about him, because just based on what I've talked to him through just short DM messages, he seems like a really good dude and just a hard worker. And he's not going to be in the ACL very long. He's going to be in Daytona fairly soon, because I think once Jacob Friend gets called up, he's going to be the next guy up there. So he's really good. And he's just turned 19 in December, so he's young and he's a really good hitter.
Yeah, and it just adds to the long list of catchers that are seemingly performing above expectation and also contributing to their team in a major way. You mentioned Jacob Friend. We talk about McChrystal a lot. We talk about Duno a lot. Like, watch out, Chattanooga and Louisville. Like, those guys, their jobs might be, in jeopardy, because these guys are going to start moving through the system. And like you had mentioned, aside from drafting Tyler Stevenson in 2015, the Reds have not had a really strong catching, pipeline. So we'll take that. Like you said, sometimes guys that play catcher don't always play catcher at the majors. But if these guys can hit, and Murillo can hit, Jacob Friend can hit, McChrystal can hit, Duno can hit, it checks a lot of boxes if you can continue to hit as you move up the ranks.
Yeah, for sure. And it's, like you said, but Stevenson, he's not going to, most likely not going to be on the team next year. So there's going to be a hole to fill, and I don't think there's anybody ready quite yet. And obviously Murillo is not going to be major league ready next year, but he could be in 2 years. He could be right up there, and you could have a nice tandem with 3 legit catchers that catch in McChrystal, Duno, and Murillo. With, I think, Jacob Friend probably transitions more into the outfield first base role. But I mean, I think it's so nice to see good catching. We got 2 catchers in the top 30. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, that's rare. I don't know if that's a thing that a lot of organizations go through, to have 2 top catchers in the top 30, top 20, right? Nearly, because he's 21.
Yeah, I think he's 21. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe moving up even more after this performance this week. So shout out to him. Speaking of that, we will probably have an updated top 30 list at the end of this month for you for our top 30 Red Hot Reds prospect rankings, with a bunch of honorable mentions as well. So look out for that. A guy like Jacob Friend or someone like that. Ty Doucette might be knocking on the door because the performances they've had recently and whatnot. So shout out to those guys, and potentially we'll see where they fall on our list. But yeah, it's been a pretty decent week in terms of just highlighting individual performances. The teams haven't won games necessarily, but hopefully next week we'll be talking about a lot more wins, a lot more great performances. Anything else you got on Mr. Hervin Murillo or anything else coming up?
No, just looking forward to another week of baseball. We get the Dominican Summer League starting up in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So really excited to see that. And just can't wait to finally get to talk about all the levels of baseball, because we got some guys down there, DSL. We got our new guy, and Angel. Yeah, he's gonna be a really good player. I'm excited to see him play too.
For sure. Oh, I forget if we even promoted this. We're gonna have an interview with a Reds prospect. Be a friend, tell a friend. Jacob Friend will be on the show, so look out for that. We'll have that interview coming to you around Wednesday, I believe. So keep your ears and eyes open for that. It definitely is a rising prospect, guy that's performed really well for Daytona. We talked about him in the Daytona recap as well. So look out for that, and we really are looking forward to talking to Jacob Friend.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. I'm excited to really talk to him and get to know him, because we've chatted a little bit here and there, but it'd be really cool to have just to sit down and talk to these guys and just see what their day-to-day is like. And it's I didn't know who Jonathan Harmon was until we talked to him, and he's a character. His energy, he's good old Southern boy. He's electric.
Yeah, from Louisiana. Yeah, for sure. That would be great to get to know Mr. Friend. So check that out, and check out all Ricky's stuff on Reds on SI, writing some good stuff out there about the Reds and the major league team and also the minors. So really appreciate all that stuff that you put out there for Sports Illustrated.
By the way, Edwin Arroyo back in the top 100.
Oh yeah, you did write about that. That's great that the Reds have 3 top 100. What was he?
Duno's 26th.
Okay. Edwin, he was like in the 90s, right?
He was 92 to end, or at the beginning of last year. He fell out of the top 100, and then now he's 100.
Oh, okay. He's in Mr. 100. All right.
Mr. 100.
I think he probably could be bumped up a little bit more. He's been playing
he'll be in the 80s soon.
Yeah, at least by like mid-June.
Just a lot of high school shortstops.
Yeah. Steele Hall is the other one, right? I believe
he's in the 40s, I believe.
So yeah, and he's been playing pretty well. So there's not any shade to high school shortstops, but
no, 65 Steele Hall.
Yeah, they got a lot more baseball to play before they see any major league level. But anyway,
yeah, for sure.
All right, if you got nothing else, Ricky, really appreciate you guys tuning in Minor League Mondays. Check out our interview with Jacob Friend coming up. But until then, go Reds.
Go Reds.